can't keep Americans down. Born of rebellion and revolution, we are ready to fight. It's in our DNA. We're ready to fight the virus, ready to fight to get back to work, and ready to fight to reopen our country in a safe and strategic way. We get it. We're not stupid. We know to wash our hands, wear a mask, and keep our distance. We know to look for signs of the virus. We look to protect the vulnerable. We appreciate the numbers need to be contained as we go through the 3 phases of reopening. We know the virus can come back, and we will be ever vigilant to make sure a complete reopening is dependent upon the data. Now, we've been sheltered in place for weeks, and we are not children. We are capable of using our God-given common sense to protect ourselves and others. But there has to be a balance between physical safety and economic survival. More and more people becoming unemployed, 22 million so far. People watch their savings, their livelihood, and their dreams disappear. For some, there will simply be no business to rebuild. For others, there will be no coming back from the depths of depression, alcohol, or drug abuse. Canceled elective surgeries, prolonged enormous physical pain, suffering, and further stress and depression. All the while, Navy ships turned into hospitals, sent at the request of panicked governors, remained virtually empty on both coasts. And yet, some continue to think the nanny state is the answer. And yet today, data suggests the virus is far less deadly than thought. That percentage estimates of death are statistically exaggerated. Enough. Inflated numbers. Enough of the lockdown. The Declaration of Independence gives us the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Included is the right to survive, live freely, and care for our families. It does not give governors the right to impose nanny states, reduce liberties, and enlarge government power. Now, certainly, government has the authority to protect public health during a pandemic, but that power cannot be used to nullify constitutional rights, including the right of peaceful protest when civil liberties are at stake. Enough of these small-time politicians using this pandemic to flex their pathetic muscles in order to gain attention. Like ticketing citizens for attending drive-in church services on church property in their own cars. Like arresting and handcuffing a father in front of his children for playing catch outdoors. Like prohibiting citizens the right to purchase firearms? Take Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, auditioning to be the woman VP candidate on Democrat Joe Biden's presidential ticket. She issues nonsensical, absurd guidelines, certainly capable of attracting national attention, but laughable were the situation not so deadly serious. Her actions both overbearing, discriminatory, and point-blank unconstitutional. Now, Governor Gretchen says it's okay in her fiefdom, Michigan, to buy alcohol and lottery tickets. She keeps abortion clinics open to get an abortion, but don't you dare even think about going to church. And she must be toking as she decrees from on high that you can buy weed, but you can't buy grass seed or vegetable seed, that you're to stay in your home, but don't you dare think about buying paint to fix it up. Gretchen ruled home improvement stores could stay open, but they had to close those aisles that had paint, flooring, and outdoor gardening sections. And when her Michigan constituents came out of their homes to protest and exercise their civil liberties, she doubles down and she threatens to extend the stay of home orders. Gretchen, your VP audition ain't going so well. And then you have New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. He can't explain why he allowed selling beer, liquor, and weed to remain open as essential businesses, but sought to punish churches and synagogues from providing religious freedom. And in response to Fox News' Tucker Carlson's questions about the Bill of Rights and his interference with religious freedoms, he said, quote, he wasn't thinking about the Bill of Rights and says it's above his pay grade. Above your pay grade? You forgot the Constitution? Did you forget you took an oath to uphold it? No more. Americans won't accept their rights being trampled on. No more of this one-size-fits-all mentality. 22 million jobs lost so far, and now Washington has run out of money to pay for the small business loan program. Layoffs are the predictable outcome from that one. Americans sheltered in their homes who've been patiently watching this unfold have seen the data, and the facts change from day to day. First, there were 2.2 million who were supposed to die in the United States, and then it was 1 million, then it was 500,000, then 250,000. And supposedly, mitigation was already taken into account in those numbers. But the models, folks, are just plain wrong. And today, a potentially lower death rate. And we understand there are still many sick and dying, and density in hotspots are to be treated differently. But what about the rest of us? We want to go back to work, feed our families. And as the governors sit there and pontificate, we are the ones experiencing the reality that for every percentage drop in employment, there are 5,000 to 10,000 deaths occurring. Depression, suicide, domestic violence, child abuse, resurgence of alcoholism, drug addiction, loss of hope. Battered women locked at home with their abusers. Abused children not being identified or protected because they cannot go to school. I'll wear my mask, my gloves, and I'll keep my distance, and I'll do the testing, whether to determine if I have COVID or whether I have the antibody. But don't you even think about tracing or tracking or giving me a card. It ain't happening. Your models are out of control. The economy is out of control. China is the one that's out of control. We're not going to let you destroy this country or our way of life. We've worked too hard and we fought too long to lose it to a Wuhan. That's what I said, a Wuhan virus that China knew about, openly lied about, said it couldn't be transmitted from human to human, and intentionally protected Chinese citizens from the virus, but allowed that virus to be released, putting the rest of the world at risk. You want to control people? You politicians want to flex your muscles? Well, start working on how you're going to punish, ostracize, alienate, and financially sanction and make China accountable for what they did to us and the rest of the world. But keep your damn hands off us and do something about what got us into this mess in the first place. That's my open.